Are live. Welcome back, Soapies. Hope you had a good week. Vicky in the chat said, please start the show.
Okay. She's ready.
I
She's
know
ready.
she's
Okay,
ready.
Vicky.
I know. Welcome, you guys. I got Bree and Keish on the line, and yeah, we got some stuff to unpack this week on both soaps. Hopefully, you had a great week. I cannot believe we're already halfway through the month of January.
Me either. I was like, my lordy. But maybe it's for a good reason.
Girl,
Let's get
time
through
is
the month.
flying. We were just Thanksgiving, Christmas, Happy New Year, and now today is January 17th.
Yeah. Ooh, my goodness.
I know,
But,
right?
but it means I'm inching closer to my birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Hey.
Your birthday is coming up in March.
Yeah, and the B&B contract is almost up in March.
Oh, Lord. I have not heard anything about that yet. Normally, they'll put it in soap news or you'll hear it by some of the reputable sports blogs, but I have not heard anything about them renewing that contract.
Nope. Unless they're going to do it at the 11th hour,
I just
which
think this is why we got these Hail Mary storylines, because I don't. This whole thing with Poppy and Lee and all of this, I'm like, couldn't we do this a year ago?
yeah, but no time like the present. Plus, we wouldn't have got baby Sheila. The emergence of baby Sheila.
Girl, they reached back in the crates and pulled sugar out of there and like, oh, yeah, let's use this.
Oh, forgot about sugar. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Oh, you talking about Luna Baby Sheila. Okay. Girl, I'm thinking
yeah,
about the whole.
baby Sheila.
Yeah, that's Baby Sheila.
And well, at
Mm-hmm.
least we'll know where she got it from.
Right.
The genetic pool.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they go down that route, that's the way it's looking, though. That is definitely the way that it's looking. So, but let's go ahead and jump into this. So, welcome you guys to Soap Corner Talk, where Bree, Keisha, and I will be discussing both The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful for the week of January 13th through the 17th. And if you are new here, we do Young and the Restless in the first half of the show. We have a little bit of a break in the middle and kind of do a little housekeeping before we move on to The Bold and the Beautiful. And then we have our four final segments. Flip the script, who's taking several seats, star of the week, pickle of the week, and we have the Simple Olympics. So, yeah. All right, so without any other further ado, and make sure you guys hit that like button if you have not. We're going to start off with Y and R, and I am going to give a summary, and then we'll break it all down. All right, so hold on 1 second. For the Young and the Restless for the 13th of January through the 17th, Kyle and Claire announcement creates issues for Summer. Nate gets unexpected news about Damien. Nick floats a new theory to Chance. Claire comes face to face with Jordan. Sally slips up with Adam. Claire decided to trick and gaslight Jordan. Claire wants to kill Jordan. And Phyllis gives Billy a reality check, and then Claire, Victoria, and Nikki forge a deadly pact, and Sharon breaks free.
Barely.
Barely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, barely. All right, where y'all want to start at? Let's talk about the Damien thing. So, at the beginning of the week, after we got somewhat of a love scene on Y&R between Audra and Nate, he finds out that not only has this whole Monte Cristo companies he's been bouncing between as an employee, but they found out he actually owned the company. I don't understand that part. Do y'all?
No, I'm still kind of lost. I'm lost in the fact. So Amy never met up with her son, at all.
It doesn't seem like it because on Friday of the, what is that, the 10th, after Damien left, we only saw Amy talking to Audra and Nate.
That is that. So she went to LA for absolutely no reason. I feel they accomplished nothing, and that text message that Nate got, like, just further proves that that Damien has a right to be suspicious of them, because clearly they didn't do all of their research.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did they find this out now prior to them going to LA? So at least they could have had a better game plan.
I agree. What about you, Keish?
I didn't know if this was the first time that they mentioned something about Damon being an owner of whatever this company was, or they had talked about it before. I was totally lost when he made that revelation.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay.
I didn't have anything else.
I just think that it's a situation that, because they spaced this whole storyline out for the distance between every time they bring it up, because originally this started in November when Amy came to the scene, and then they backed off the storyline, and then we came back to it in early December, I think it was. And then they're talking about going to LA, and then, we're not going to bring Damien on until the first week of January. It's like, okay, there's no consistency in the storyline on how it's moving. I mean, then we get to hear them, Devon and him, say, "Oh, we're going to offer him a job." And like Bree just said, why didn't y'all find out what his dealings were? He already owns companies. Why would he want to come and work for Winners?
Yeah. Right. It just doesn't make any sense. And given that Amy is, like, she's dealing with a fatal medical issue, she's dealing with cancer, you would think that they would try to move the process along.
Right.
So that she can at least break the news to her son while she still has time.
Mm-hmm. Still skeptical about her cancer.
Right. I am too, because she bouncing around Genoa City, bouncing around LA, and it's like, you in stage 4?
Right. Just going shopping, laughing, gallivanting. You would think that she would try to reach out to her son as quickly as possible so she can try to absorb being around her child, her only child, while she has time.
Either it's more to this story or this is just bad writing. Either she's faking or her and him are working together to sneak into their... It's got to be something, or else this is just poorly written.
I think there's going to be more to the story. I have a feeling that they're playing Nate in some way. Like, that might actually be Nate's brother, but I feel like either she's playing Nate or they're both playing Nate together.
Right. It's got to be something, because it doesn't make sense for her. First of all, she don't act like she's sick. I mean, we've seen Sharon had cancer, and we saw what that looked like.
Yeah.
And we saw what MS looked like on Nikki, well, at least for a while. Now she doesn't really have any flare-ups, but we saw what that looks like. And Amy being stage 4, and she only have so much time left, she don't act like a woman that's that sick.
Right. Or at least, like, on the brink of, like, going to hospice. Or I'm surprised that Nate isn't catching on to, like, looking at her symptoms, seeing how she's moving, how she's acting. Granted, I know people function differently when you're given a diagnosis like that. Mm-hmm. However, like you were stating, T, this storyline started in November. And didn't she say that she didn't have much time left?
Right.
Yeah. I'm not going to pretend to know what stage 4 looks like. So maybe... I don't know. Maybe she is able to function the way she is with stage 4 cancer. I don't know. I feel like just in her words alone, not necessarily her actions, and that she doesn't, she's not acting like someone with stage 4 cancer. it's the way that it's. I don't know. It's the way she talks about Nate talking to Damien, and the way that she was just kind of. I felt she was a little bit pushy about whether or not, Nate was going to help her, and Nate going to LA, and Nate talking to him first, and I need you to do this, this, and this. I don't want to do any of that yet. I want you to do it. There's just something about the way that she like set this whole thing up that just, I don't know. It's just suspicious to me.
Because she created an urgency. And I would think when you create an urgency, you would want to, especially since you know where he's at. He was in LA, he was in your reach. You could have met with him along with Nate.
That's what I didn't understand is why wouldn't you go with Nate?
Right.
Like her fear was that he wouldn't answer a call or that he would skip town if he knew she was there. But if she just showed up with Nate at the restaurant, you're there with him.
And once again, she's dealing with a fatal medical condition. Get in front of it so you can spend time with your son and say, hey, it's been years. Wouldn't you want to lay eyes on your child after a few years?
Yeah,
Right.
there's something else going on with this, and I agree, Keish, it's probably more to the story, but if it isn't, then this is just badly written, and especially if you're trying to introduce this character, there's a whole bunch of other ways they could have went than doing this whole convoluted puzzle.
Yeah, and Cheryl Hines, she stated she works in the healthcare field. She's taking care of people with cancer. At stage 4, you're not traveling or shopping.
Right. I mean, my brother-in-law, he's in remission, but he had stage 4 leukemia. He wasn't up running around town and traveling. I mean, because you're usually under chemo, and now granted, she said that she don't want anything, and this is it, I'm just going to let it go. Even that is suspicious to me, because most people, especially Nate having a history of being a doctor, and I think we talked about that back in November, when she was like, well, no, I really don't need a second opinion, I know, I don't need anything, and then she started bopping around town. So, I don't know. She getting played, like Rosalind said in the comment section.
Yeah, because this doesn't make any sense. You have access to a doctor, and if it means, like going through a couple more tests, but they find something that, hey, you're not at this particular stage, we were able to treat you, we're able to do such and such. Why wouldn't you want to take, that opportunity? He's a doctor, he's a successful one, but you want him to play detective to find your son. You guys go to LA, he's within your reach, and you don't want to sit down with him and talk with him, and it's been years since you've laid eyes on him.
Well, according to her, it's been years.
According to her.
Because she's been holding hair and all this stuff from, I don't know how many years ago. Remember all of that? Oh, yeah, by the way, I have a hair sample. Where'd you get his hair from? You haven't seen this in years.
Right.
So, I figured it was his baby hair.
Girl.
and that man has a nice haircut. Like, where did she get a piece of hair from?
And remember she said, I knew you was going to ask. I knew this was going to come in handy, or I knew you was going to ask for that. And I'm like, who prepares to have some hair available?
Right. But, I was actually, somebody sent me a couple of video clips, and I'll send it to you guys in the group chat, of the actual Amy Lewis. The storyline that they painted was, with this Amy Lewis now, is that she and Nate met while they were in high school, and she never saw him again. But her and Nate actually worked on the police force with Paul. So that doesn't make any sense as far as that backstory. I'm so sick of all
these rewrites. It's like you create a history with some folks, and then you want to come back and just change. And granted, it's fiction, it's a soap opera, you can do what you want to, but at least make it make sense.
I'll send you guys a video.
Okay.
Because She was working right beside Nate and Paul. She knew Paul very well. She was in the police force. But you need Nate to help you find your child. This doesn't make any sense.
Was it the same actress? I'm just curious.
Different actress. Different actress. But she was working right beside Nate. They were working the police force with Paul.
Yeah. So Paris Barnes in the chat says this plot is just stupid. Nate didn't need a brother. He needs his mom and maybe a successful romance, not Audra. They're writing Nate dumb when he's not. He is a doctor who should know the signs and stuff like that. What y'all think about what she said?
I would love for them to bring on the Olivia character. That would have been refreshing to see him with another family member.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind them bringing on a sibling. I just like for the story to make sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And plus we got that fine looking man. So yeah, we need to put him somewhere so we can see him, and then see him shirtless pretty soon.
Yeah.
But as far as the Audra and Nate thing, it's starting to slowly grow on me like a fungus, but it's growing, so I don't mind it. But I agree he needs a successful relationship, and it makes me wonder what the hell they brought Brittany Starpy on if she wasn't
girl just for Phyllis in the hospital.
That is insane.
Yep, just for that one little stint. That's it. Yep. So I don't know. I just they need to move the story along. Bring Damien in. It doesn't make sense. You know, how are you going to connect the dots when he has his own company and now you want him to come into town to do what? What, he's going to play y'all and take over y'all company? So, I mean, obviously, if he's owning companies but he's hiding his ownership, there's got to be a reason behind that. And secondly, if they do let him into Winters thinking that they're just trying to get him a job, who's to say this man won't undermine the Winters company?
Oh, thank you, Cheryl, for clarifying that. Amy was a Paul's secretary and Paul was a PI. Amy's father was a cop. Once again, she was in the police force. She knew how to try to find people. That didn't make any sense. And Sandra thinks Damien and Audra know each other.
Well, we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. All right, let's talk about the whole conversation with Kyle and Claire trying to tell Harrison that they're in a relationship, and he already knew it because Claire spent the night on New Year's, and Summer was feeling some kind of way that she was excluded from that conversation.
I hate the whole scene.
What'd you say, Keish?
I just hated that entire scene. I hated that she was there to spend time with Harrison, and then here come Kyle and Claire interrupting their time. I didn't really feel like she felt. She was definitely annoyed. I hate that she even asked, like, do I need to be here for this? Honestly, I hate that Claire and Kyle didn't just let her have her time with Harrison.
Right.
And decide to talk to Harrison later about what they wanted to talk to him about. They walked in there and they made it obvious, oh, we have something to tell Harrison, to talk to Harrison about. No, you don't need to be here. And it's just like, this show is doing everything in its power to just make Summer look stupid right now. Because none of that was necessary. But they want... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Keish.
I was just going to say none of that was necessary, but they want so badly for Summer to look like the jealous fool in this, that they involve her in every aspect of Kyle and Claire's relationship. Even after she left, her name came up again when Claire was like, well, you know, sometimes your parent or people move on and they get in other relationships with other people, and you know that their exes, or however she worded it, may not like that they're moving on. And it's like, why? Seriously? Do we really need all of that? Like, why can't it not just be about the two of them and their relationship and just leave Summer out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't need to. They didn't need to say any of that.
I
No.
agree with you on the part, Keish, about I didn't like that at all. That was Summer and Harrison's time together. And
Mm-hmm.
for them to come over there and just overtake that, like, well, we got something more important to talk about it. And no, we don't need you. I'm like, couldn't you wait to because the girl planned to take him to get some ice cream and some other stuff that they were going to do. And you just cut his time short just to talk about the fact that the two of you seeing each other? Was it that
Mm-hmm.
important?
Right.
It was disrespectful.
Yeah.
And if the shoe was on the other foot, Kyle would have an issue with it. Um, and I'm going to still stand by what I was saying last week. It really should have been Kyle who should have broke that news to his son, because Summer broke that news to her son about Chance. They didn't have like a whole sit down where Summer and Chance were breaking the news saying, hey, we're dating. It wasn't an announcement like that. But for Kyle to just go and say, y'all, we're going to take Harrison. We're going to need to speak with him. Yeah, you're free to leave. We don't need you for this conversation. Just absolutely disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wonder as to why Summer has an issue with them being together, because she feels like she's being forced out. And this was a prime example of that. Just because Claire said, oh, no time like the present to break the news, this should have been where he needed to at least check with the other parent to see, like, hey, are you spending time with our son? Like something, there should have been some sort of checkpoint when it came to Harrison. As soon as he saw that he was spending time with his mom, they should have just cut it and said, like, hey, we're going to set up a time tomorrow to have a discussion with just the three of us, and let it be that. Let Harrison have time with his mother. She doesn't live on the property, so she's trying to see him as best as she can. She took off work to come see her baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to cut that time? Yeah, I'd be very upset.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had Claire kind of like looking. It was when Harrison said something like, Claire makes everything fun. And then hugged Claire and Kyle. And then Claire looks over at Summer. It's like, can we stop with all of this? Like all the extra little touches of, I don't know, I guess awkwardness or trying to make Summer feel less than. It's just so, I don't know, it's annoying and unnecessary.
I don't even, and I agree with you, Bree, about the fact that that should have been a conversation between him and Harrison. But it's not like they even finna get married or anything. Okay, y'all dating. Why y'all need to
Right.
make that a big announcement to a 8-year-old?
Mm.
I think that's more so Claire's insecurity.
I guess. I mean, it was like they was doing too much for me.
Right. And I feel Claire was really out of bounds with that. I think, like, if she wants to try to pacify things and make things not so awkward, she needs to try to have a conversation with her cousin. Because for her to say to Kyle, like, oh, I wish Summer would just go along with this or be okay with this. The issue is the fact that she feels like you're stepping on her toes.
Mm-hmm.
And being that you're not the nanny anymore, you're the girlfriend, that's fine. But as far as you stepping in, and to the point where Kyle is shooing Summer away from her own child, you can't. She's Claire is not that naive to know that that's going to be an issue for any woman, for any mother. So she needs to have that conversation with her cousin about, I guess, what her role would be with Harrison, or how comfortable she really is, versus just assuming that she's just jealous because they're together.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was just so unnecessary. And I mean, the boy ain't stupid because he was like, "Oh yeah, I figured something was going on because Claire spent the night over here."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I honestly think that unless they was like, look, we're about to get married, that's a whole new dynamic he would have to live in alongside with Summer. Okay, I get that conversation, but y'all just seeing each other. Okay, big deal. Why did that need to, but Diane started that conversation. Remember
Mm.
when she told Kyle that he needed to tell Harrison? I'm looking like, okay, why you got to check everything through an 8-year-old?
Yeah.
That's grown folks' business.
Yeah, but Sandra is right. Summer is jealous, according to Chance. I did not like that interaction at all. It's just
Okay.
that further proves that they're more so friends than they are in a relationship. That he's able to call out the fact that she's a little bit jealous.
Well, that's the second time he's done that. That's what I like about Chance is that he calls her out because he said that to her when she was throwing her little fit about him and Audra several months back when him and Audra were messing, or when they had started working together. Sorry. And he told her, he was like, do I need to be worried? Because you sound like you're a little jealous.
Are they
Um,
even together?
It looked like they trying
they're
to rebuild something because they was like, "Oh, I had a good time. Can we do this again?" And Summer was like, "Yeah, I would like that." So I guess
Yeah, it's
We're not even.
we're not
We can't
even
even look at
excited.
them.
We was excited at the end of 2023, but that
well, I'm
ship is
still
set.
excited.
Are you,
I just
Keish?
Yes, because I don't want her anywhere near Kyle. I don't want her and Kyle back together,
Yeah, I don't want that either.
and I
I
don't want her single. And I don't know. I still think her and Chance are good together
I just
because
they need to play them two up. They're not giving them. They're dry to me. The storyline for them is dry.
I'm hoping that, and I don't know if Connor Floyd is like back on like a regular contract or if he's still on recurring, but I'm hoping that changes so that they can do that
Hmm.
because he's been on screen a little more than he had been like over the summer. I feel like maybe it's like spring, summertime. I felt like he wasn't on screen as much when they first, put him on recurring status.
Hmm.
Um, but it's like ever since he's gone back to the police force, he's had more screen time. So I'm hoping that maybe that changes and maybe they'll go back to actually writing for them.
Mm. I don't know.
I,
Go ahead,
I can't
Bree.
see it. I was gonna say I can't see it. This woman would find any reason to break away from him. They even spend the holidays together. So, and plus, she's more so zeroed in on what's going on with Claire and Kyle. Now, as far as the jealousy, is either she's jealous of the fact that Kyle moved on with Claire, or that Claire is fulfilling somewhat of a motherly role in Harris's life, and she doesn't like that. It's either
Hmm.
one of those two, or maybe both.
Hmm.
But
It
she's
start
more so focused on that now versus Chance.
it started out with her. I hated that she said, "I don't like that Claire is pushing her way into Kyle and Harrison's life." And she just said, "Harrison, okay, I can understand her. I don't know, her being jealous or annoyed with the fact that she's around Harrison more now that even though she's not the nanny anymore.
Hmm.
But why are you including Kyle in that? And why are you acting like Kyle isn't willingly dating her? Like,
Right.
what do you mean she's pushing her way into Kyle's life?
I guess it's
I-
the same way where Taylor pushed her way into Rich over the past week. So
But she actually did do that. I don't feel like Claire pushed her way into Kyle's life. That it was
no, she
mutual.
didn't. But I don't. I mean, well, we'll get to both.
I feel like it was Kyle that was the one that initiated, their little romance or whatever. So that's what pissed me off. And it's
Yeah.
like, and then she said, "Well, I don't care who Kyle dates." So then why are you mad about this? And I like that he said, "Well, you say that, but you had the same opinion when you thought that he was dating Audra. You had a problem with that. Well, I didn't want her around my son. Audra wasn't around your son. So what are you talking about? And now
Mm.
you have an issue with Claire. So it looks like a pattern of you not wanting Kyle to move on. So, what is it? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Jenna agrees with you though. She says she wants Summer with Chance. So you want your man, Jenna? Chance is your man. Don't let Summer have him.
She wants Summer back with Chance.
Yeah, she agrees with
Keisha. Oh, okay. Yeah, well.
Yeah, and
they're just boring together. That's the thing. I don't mind the two of them because I don't want her with Kyle, but at least give them something. I don't know. I lost the hype.
I think they're boring together. I just think they just haven't written for them. I mean,
well, that's what I'm talking about. They're not giving them anything.
I feel like 75% of their relationship was during the time that it was literally right when Connor Floyd went on recurring. I think they started officially dating in February, and it was like March, sometime in March or April, when he went down to recurring, and we never saw them on screen together.
Exactly, which is dumb on their part because you went through all of that in the fall of 2023. The man was shot. He was still with Sharon. She broke, that whole relationship broke up in order for Summer to be put in there. And when they finally make it official, we got a fake shower scene out of it. Then you put the man on recurring status. And then when they come back off of recurring status, he get on the force, and now Summer's mad at him because of the fact of the situation with her brother.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope they reverse it, and I hope that they, I don't know, write for them the way they did before they officially started dating. I feel like they had more scenes together in 2023 than they did after they officially got together.
Well, Chance has a couple more options according to the chat. Sandra feels Chance and Audra would be great.
Oh.
And then we got Mira Aldo, who said that Chance should have stayed with Sharon.
No. No to both of those.
Keith said no and no.
I like Nate and Audra together.
And then I forget who's asked. Somebody asked, should Nate's brother be with Sally? I was like,
I don't know about that one. They have been hinting about Lily on that one, but
yeah, that was Shawana Jenkins. Yeah, she said, "Do you think Nate's brother be good for Sally?" Only time will tell. We need more scenes with him and him shirtless.
Yeah. So, what do y'all think about this whole thing between Adam, Billy, and Sally and Chelsea? Because I don't know. I mean, first of all, Connor wanted to be at the ranch, and then, by the way, Mom, you need to come stay there too. And of course Chelsea don't want to go there because she know Adam wants to be with her, but she claimed she don't want to be with Adam. But Billy tells her, you're just not being honest with yourself. I'm like, y'all just figure out what y'all want to do and let's move on.
Right. I'm tired of every scene that Adam and Sally have together. They're rehashing what happened. They're rehashing why they broke up and them moving on and their history together. And it's like, or he's apologizing. And it's like, why is this all they talk about now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this is what it's going to be, then let's not put them in scenes together anymore. Because we don't need to hear about how Adam and Chelsea cheated, or how he, was sorry for what he did, or that they had a great relationship before all. Like, I don't need to hear that every time that they see each other.
I agree with that. But it further proves that they were both just each other's rebound. Mm-hmm. I can't take them all that seriously. So if they moved on from each other, I wouldn't hate it. Mm-hmm. But they're rehashing a lot of the same dialogue. And once again, no shade whatsoever to the actors. It's more so just the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been talking about this since towards the end of summer.
Yep.
Of last year. So I'm like, why are they bringing us into 2025? Like, we get it. They're done. They're over with. Okay. Mm-hmm. Adam's trying to get Chelsea to move in. It shouldn't have to be the same discussion all over again. I'm like, I can repeat the same scripting.
Yeah, I don't like again, and like Jenna said, and we've been saying this before. Sally need to go back to Bold.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing here. I mean, we know that she's helping out over at Marchetti, but she's just had this long, complicated relationship since 2022 with Adam. You threw Nick in there, you threw Billy in there, and it's just like, and then we got Sally talking about how hurt she is. I don't even want to hear anything she has to say because of
Right.
everything that she did for a year. How you gonna, she is really holding that one night stand over Adam's head. And I'm not saying that he was okay with, because he was in a relationship. The girl was living with him and everything.
Right.
But you were playing between two whole brothers for a year and a half and had a baby in the middle of it. And then you want to say, well, how bad you treated me and what you did to me. And I'm like, really? That's what we're doing.
Yeah, just like, get out of your feelings.
Right.
You'll be okay.
You'll be all right.
And plus, you already slept with a whole different man, so you're
She
fine.
slept with a whole lot of brothers.
And while pregnant too. I'm just want more for the Sally Spectra character. It makes no sense for Sally Spectra to be over on Y&R.
Right.
And once again, it's no shade whatsoever to Courtney Hope. Talented actress.
Yeah, she got a whole Emmy out of that.
Absolutely. Great for her. But Sally Spectra should be feuding with Steffy Forrester. Like, it should have been them taking on that rivalry from their namesakes on B&B.
Yep.
It makes no sense why Brad Bell and like the writers over on B&B had her come over to Y&R. That is insane.
Yeah, and then not really give her any good dialogue. They tried with her and Adam, but they destroyed that whole thing. They were together about a good 3-4 months before Adam did the whole thing where Victoria is trying to take over Newman Media and he quit, so that she could get the job, and she turned on Adam only to get with Nick. It was like, why did y'all do that?
Right.
Nick don't need no more women.
Right. He okay. They're gonna throw himself at him anyway. He'll be fine.
And now you throw Billy in the middle of this. It's like, and to me, they're not an interesting couple, and it's a rebound.
Yeah, and he doesn't need any more women either.
Nope.
You don't know what to do with them.
Girl, wait a minute. Let's talk about the whole conversation between Victoria and Chelsea.
That was odd.
That was.
Right.
Because they've never been friends like that, and she never cared about Adam. So, like, why are you inviting her over for a drink and talking about her relationship with Adam as if you truly care about that?
Right.
That came out of nowhere.
That was weird to me because when Chelsea walked into the jazz lounge and Victoria's like, "Hey Chelsea, you want to come over?" And I'm like, "Okay, what she got up her sleeve?" And then it was just about, "Oh no, you're good for Adam, and and all of this, and he's been really." I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
She gave her brother a compliment. If only he could hear that.
Right.
But this was odd. This is the same woman who wanted to keep Chelsea away because Chelsea wanted to try to get to know the child that she gave birth to, which was Johnny.
Right.
So all of a sudden now you're open to Chelsea. You're open to Chelsea, but not to Adam. And he's your whole brother.
Now, Jenna said, well, Johnny and Connor have been palling around together a lot. So, I don't know. You think that might have brought her closer to Chelsea or thought that she could be cool with her? I don't know.
It makes sense for the parents to try to get along. I do get that.
That's the same thing I said, Belinda. She said, I guess hell froze over. When Victoria talked nice about Adam. I so
Yeah.
agree with that.
Or maybe she just really doesn't have any friends, so she's just trying to scrap up whatever she can because
I
she didn't push
mean,
everybody out.
yeah, I mean, they always call Victoria the Ice Queen. So, and then she tried to bring her, I guess Chelsea saw through her saying, hey, listen, my situation with my son ain't got nothing to do with you and Claire. So stop. So I don't know. That was a weird conversation to me because those two never was really cool with each other.
Right.
Yeah. Um, there was the other conversation with Billy wanting and having a conversation with Phyllis. Well, before that, Daniel was trying to hold Billy to what he was trying to do with this plan to take down Chancellor. I don't. He is so disillusioned to actually
Mm.
think that whatever he's gonna do is gonna work, and Phyllis gonna ride that gravy train with him.
And I'm like, but what money?
Well, even
Like,
Daniel said that.
didn't you go to your big brother?
Listen, Daniel said that. He was like, how y'all gonna go up against Victor with all the lawyers in the world and endless pockets to take him down?
Like, he had to go to his brother for a loan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But Billy done tried this before. Let's see how it work. I guess for good content, but to me, it's probably.
I'm.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Keish.
I was just gonna say I'm just sick of Billy and his plots and his schemes to take down Victor Newman every other year, like or Adam. It's either Adam one year or it's Victor, and it's
Shoot, it's
like
both this year.
yeah, this year is both. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, do they not have anything else that they can write for this man?
Mm-hmm.
I guess
It's
not.
it's the same thing over and over again. Him plotting somehow to take one of them two down. It's like this is this is beyond old, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just ridiculous. Him and Phyllis both, they just look stupid and immature, and like they just have nothing better to do with their lives but to who they're going to be mad at this week, and what they're going to plan to do to get revenge on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the basis of him and Phyllis's stories for the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel actually wanted to work with them, but on something new that is their own so they can stay out of trouble. I don't know why these two particular people gravitate towards trouble and then cry a river about how people turn against them and how stuff goes awry and it's not their fault.
Exactly.
All right, there's a super chat, and Mari, I was going to bring that up in the during the break between the two shows. Yeah, Eric Braden did lose his house in the fire in California. So,
Yeah.
Him and I think Melissa Claire Egan lost her house too.
Yeah, and Jennifer Garris. There's quite a few soap stars who lost their home. Prayers to everyone in California who's still dealing with that.
Yep. So, Mari, you're in California. I thought I saw something where you lost some of your homes. So I don't know if you own multiple properties there, but if so, sending prayers and well wishes to you too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we got this thing where Claire was at the coffee house. She heard some mystery woman ordering the same tea as Jordan would order. So she ended up having a PTSD moment. Her head flipped so fast on that was Tuesday episode, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny the way they did the dramatic turn. She was like, boom. I'm like, dang. But then she did realize eventually Jordan is stupid. First of all, she broke up with her man this week.
That's for me.
Yeah, because did y'all notice what Ian said? He said, "You ain't gonna have me to keep you at warm at night," and I'm like,
Oh, wait a
"You
minute.
missed that part."
I must have.
Yeah, I
Wait a
missed that
minute.
too.
He sure did. And I'm like, oh, so that's what. Because think about it, it's only one bed in there. There's no couches.
Oh, he was keeping her warm. Okay. Hmm. Well, I mean, she's been alone, so she's not scared to be alone. So that wasn't gonna be a threat to her. To be honest, honestly, I think that Jordan's gonna end up playing Claire in all of this because Claire is gonna think that she's outsmarting her aunt, but her aunt taught her everything that she knows. She better watch out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, Cynthia said that argument between between those two was epic. Ian did say that. Yeah, because here's the thing. I think Ian was. Okay, let me ask you guys. Do you actually think that Ian was going to do his part to help Jordan, or was he just using her?
Oh, he was using her.
Yeah, I think he was using her.
Okay. Because he was trying to say, I'm trying to get through, because there's more of his plan where Tessa, I'm telling you, I saw this a week ago. I'm like, it's something off with that girl that she's slowly, I said this last week. I'm like, why is she still so hung up on listening to Ian? Well, next week spoilers. So, anyway, I think, in my opinion, I'm wondering if he was going to play the long game and try to help her. But I think he wanted his stuff done first.
I don't think he intended to help Jordan. I think he felt that he did his part when he got her out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he was using a lot of his cult leader tactics and expecting her to follow along. And Jordan is her own beast. So she was like, no, you need to, this needs to be fair. You need to do your part. So that's why she was able to up and leave him. But he never intended to help Jordan. She did all the heavy lifting since they both came back on screen. We haven't really seen him do anything except he goes to the coffee shop and he goes to society. That's it.
Yeah. He was the cover. She did the deeds and he was the cover. So when everybody was focused on him, she was doing the dirty work and behind the scenes with Heather. Well, the whole thing with Heather, we didn't even know Ian was in the picture. But now it's like he gave himself some alibis because he was one place when something else was going on. We'll obviously never know at this point because she decided to kick him to the curb. I'm wondering, did she abandon the plan to leave Sharon down there? Because I thought maybe she kept the girl for insurance and then she killed the deal.
Right, and they were supposed to pin it on Phyllis, but they completely reneged out of that.
Right.
The whole plan. So it's like they're making it up as they go.
So my thing is, I guess at this point, now that she just said, screw it, I'm not doing anything for you. I'm going to deal with this situation with Claire and the Newmans. That left Sharon, so I'm assuming Jordan was never going to come back for
her. Which is Sharon's own fault.
Why you say it's Sharon's fault?
Well, Sharon's fault.
She should have just went with her daughters.
Well, yeah, on New Year's.
Or she should have stayed home. It's none of this.
It's her fault.
She gave Jordan the opportunity.
I mean, I said that last week. I'm like, there is no way, if you know somebody out there poisoning your medication and, Heather was killed by probably the same people and somebody ran Phyllis off the road that wasn't you. Somebody is out there, and for her to just go out there with nobody, no security, you're not moving right, not
It's
moving
not Sharon's
smart.
fault that Jordan and Ian are criminals that decided to kidnap her.
Yeah, but you open yourself up to somebody that you put yourself in prime position to be attacked, and that's what she did. Jordan said, "Ah, opportunity. I got some chloroform. There she is. I'm finna come get her." If
Exactly.
she
And
had
she was
security, or she just stayed her butt at home, she probably wouldn't have this problem.
right.
Are we talking about at the ranch that has Victor security who never seems to actually secure anything?
But the thing is, Faith and Nicholas wasn't that far away, and she could have went over to the ranch with Faith and Nicholas, and they all left together. She didn't do that.
No.
I'm not going to blame Sharon for getting kidnapped because they wanted to kidnap her. Ian and Jordan would have figured out how to get that woman regardless of security or anything else because that's what they wanted to do. It's not Sharon's fault that the two of them are violent criminals.
Granted, I'll give you that. However, this is the same woman who told Daniel, hey, there's someone on the loose. Hey, there needs to be protection and security for Daniel and Lucy. Her knowing that, she still wanted to step outside of her house to go party and celebrate and then make the foolish decision to go by herself when she could have tagged along with somebody
if
for
you're
her
gonna
own
give
protection.
that right, if you're gonna give that advice to somebody else, you need to follow that same advice yourself.
Knowing that someone tried to pin all of the stuff that happened with Heather on her and her on Daniel, like she knew better. Like, it's one thing to have them reopen the case and you want to celebrate. You could celebrate on your property. You didn't need to go out.
And they even said that the place was swarming with security. The ranch, because of the fact Ian had just left the premises. So I mean, it was she just didn't. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Bree. I mean, the thing is, if you gonna give that advice, look, the same person that's messing with you is also messing with me. So make sure you have security, but then you go out there without it. That not smart. Then Claire played Jordan. Jordan looked like she actually. Do you think Jordan believed her? Because she seemed kind of like she bought into it. Do you not agree?
She seemed like
no. I mean, she's going along with it.
Oh, you think she just going along just to play along, or is she going along because she believe her?
No, she's going along to play along. She knows her niece is trying to play her. This is the same woman who taught this girl everything that she knows, how to be a liar, how to be a schemer, everything. I think her sixth sense is telling her to go along and play along. And this is where Claire's going to get herself caught up with Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, then she go and run and tell Victoria and Nikki about it, and now she wants to play murderer plot with these two, and Nikki's on board, and Victoria's like, no.
Why is it Nikki and Victoria get themselves caught up in unaliving people? Wasn't it with JT and then I forget what that other man's name, but it's always the same two people. I don't get that. And then they don't want to go to Victor, and they didn't want to go to Cole, which really shows a level of trust that he would protect them.
Well, the thing is, they listening to her. Victoria and Nikki, their first initial thought process to this whole thing was, we need to get Victor involved, and Claire was adamant, talking about no. It's like, you gonna take that from her? Who else was doing that? Oh yeah, when we was saying how Hope was telling her mom not to say anything. It's like, why y'all listening to illogical information? The best thing to do is to tell Victor about this.
And then she wants to try to handle it on her own. You know, your aunt was able to get herself out of prison, and these two dodo heads are trusting Claire to try to help save their family by getting and get rid of Jordan. And they feel the only way to do that is she feels she can only just pretend that she wants to go along with Jordan, that she doesn't like the Newmans, and then make her move. That, there's no way I could have trusted Claire in that moment. I would have went and told Victor.
No. I mean, don't they remember the last few times they had some type of pact to do something like this? When they tried to, what was that? Get rid of JT and that whole thing. It's like,
yeah.
Why y'all listening to Claire? I understand she might know her aunt, but her aunt been here a whole lot longer and has been crazy a whole lot longer than Claire. She gonna lure all three of y'all into a trap.
It's like the student trying to school the teacher and it's gonna fail miserably.
Exactly. Exactly. And Nikki's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, girl, really?
Doesn't she have a company that she needs to run?
Exactly. You're just taking over Chancellor, and now you're about to commit murder. Good luck with that.
It was the way she just nonchalantly said we have to unalive her.
Mm-hmm.
That was just, it was like,
who you talking about, Claire or Nikki?
Claire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's gonna
but
blow
Nikki's
up in their face.
But sitting there considering it.
Right, exactly. And Victoria, surprisingly, is the voice of reason. She like, I don't think we should do this. And I agree.
Well, they won't really have much of an option since we saw the previews for next week with Victor.
Yeah, because I think he's going to find out some kind of way. They in the middle of the floor talking, knowing that it's a lot of hiding places. And, of course, Victor is going to probably hear, I think what we saw next week, he's going to be listening to this whole thing.
Like, keep it a secret, guys. This is our plan. We're not going to tell Victor. He just over there just listening, just arm's length away, just listening to the conversation. I'm like, y'all are just dodo in the head.
I'm curious to find out when Victor finds out that Jordan is out and moving around in Genoa City, how he's going to look at Cole and Michael. Because you know he's going to blame it on them.
Right, because didn't Claire say that she called the prison and found out about what happened with Jordan or something, and somebody's in her place? So you mean to tell me Victor has never kept tabs in regards to Jordan this whole time? He's just perfectly fine with her just being in prison, not worrying about her.
Well,
yeah,
that's gonna be interesting. Yep, but this whole thing gonna blow up in their face, and you know what? That's what they get. Ain't no way you gonna take on a psychopath like that and think you gonna outsmart her. How did that? I mean, Jordan snuck up and chloroformed Claire over at the Abbott house. She played them down in that dungeon when she poisoned herself, trying to set them up for murder and that whole thing. It's like, y'all not playing with somebody with a full deck. She poisoned y'all at her own house.
With water. Which is what Sharon had realized too.
Yep, she had water, PCP in her water.
And what makes Claire think that Jordan didn't follow her on the Newman Ranch and heard that conversation? Because it took her next to nothing when they were at the other ranch for Jordan to pop up, listen to conversation, taunt Nikki with stripper music, everything. So, I mean, this is just, why are they listening to Claire about this?
Yep. Talking about Sharon, po thing. She finally figured out a way to get that pole and break that chain, only to get loose and then pass out. That girl only took like 2 steps from where she was and passed. I'm like, really, writers? I mean, just get her out of there. First of all, it's not realistic. She's been down there since New Year's. You mean to tell
Right.
me that she's not full of bodily wastes?
Hair, makeup, perfect, and she'd been surviving off of just drinking the little stuff that Jordan gave her.
Right. She had a bag of popcorn and a few bottles of water down there. And I mean, and like Jasmine said, Sharon's makeup still looked great. I mean, what is she? I know you had to go to the bathroom. Something.
Right. There's no way. And then on top of that, it's cold in the middle of Genoa City.
Mm-hmm.
So, no hypothermia. Like, you would have thought this woman would have been sick by now. And maybe that's what they're trying to play off, that maybe she was so weak. And on top of that, being her water was tampered with PCP. I can see why she would kind of fall over, and then she's laying there on the ground for Jordan to come pick her up. But that's my prediction. But where is this going?
I don't know. This storyline has been going on since June. June.
I'm like, what is the goal? What is the goal of all of this? How long before we reach February sweeps? What, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. It should be coming because usually it starts a few days before the end of the month. So it should be coming up pretty darn soon.
And it took them forever to get that video footage where they're able to see that somebody came behind Sharon in the first place. And Nick said, like, I can't even make out who it is. It looks like somebody familiar. Just get to the point, please. Right. At this stage, just get to the point.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And I think we were saying this throughout the fall. They just been adding stuff to this storyline. It's like y'all ain't got nothing else to write. I mean, y'all dragging the Amy Lewis Damien storyline. This whole situation with Chelsea and Adam and Billy and Sally, to me, is blah. What else y'all got? The Chancellor, taking over Chancellor thing with Lily and all that, that's over. She's back at Winters. And this thing with Billy trying to do whatever with Phyllis, okay, he gonna fall on his face. So now what? Y'all gotta come up with something. I mean, I know y'all got a contract to 2028, but that don't mean y'all gotta start slacking.
Oh, I love the chat. I love the soapies. V. Carter said you would be weak, smelly, and soiled by that time. Jasmine Williams said Sharon is wearing Steffi's diaper.
Where did that come from? What does that mean, Steffi's diapers?
When she was locked up in that cave because of Luna.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes. And then Jenna said Sharon is just waiting for Nick to come riding on his white horse. Like, we get that. We do get that, Jenna. They are just dragging this way too long. And, like, we love the acting. It's just at this stage, it's like, where are we going with this?
Let me tell you, Bree, over the past week or two, I could usually get involved into the episodes. There's times I've been catching myself on multiple episodes dozing off. Because it's just that boring.
You know what? It did take me a minute to get through Y&R this week. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't really... There wasn't really anything I was looking forward to seeing other than Summer and Chance's scene and Nate and Audra. But I feel like when I was watching it, I was just sitting there and not really watching it. So, like, I had to watch, I think, Thursday and Wednesday's episode twice because I just couldn't remember what I actually watched.
Yeah, there's some episodes, and I think we had 1 or 2 the previous week on that Wednesday or Thursday, and it was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
It was so slow. So boring. The episode where Devon was sitting at the table talking with Abby and Lily. I'm like,
Oh yeah, and they were going back and forth
yeah,
about like, should we hire Damien? What is Damien about? What is this? What is? And I'm like,
That was this week.
that was
that was
last
last
week.
week.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like last Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, it was Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
because that's when, and then they had Damien debut the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Right. That's
Mhm.
I was waiting for that, and then you get to 2 minutes left, and then Damien shows up, and I'm like, so I don't know. They need to they got multiple players, multiple actors and actresses on that show to come up with several different storylines. In my opinion.
Yeah, and maybe they'll kick it into overdrive since sweeps is just a couple weeks away anyway. So maybe they're just dragging us out, and then we're gonna get something amazing for February. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. But yeah, this week was kind of
Mm-hmm. You said kind of.
like I can't even give it a real reaction. It's like it's just there.
It's just there, and then the only other piece before we move on to Bold is Mariah blaming herself because Ian is in town. So I.
Um. Okay. That's exactly what I was feeling. Because I don't feel that she should blame herself. I mean, there's other people who was involved with Ian prior to her. I mean, Nikki was involved with Ian. Paul was involved with Ian. Like there was
Mm-hmm.
just other people, who has dealings with this man more than just Mariah. So I don't know why she's blaming herself. But I mean, Cameron Grimes is a talented actress. But yeah, that's it. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, just get Sharon up out of there. Figure out what you're gonna do with Ian and Jordan, and I don't know what's next. What like you say the end goal? Okay, they get rid of Ian and Jordan. Are we going to extend this by making this a mystery now? Because a lot of people were putting off threats and things like that. So I don't know where they're going with that. But anyway, where we're going is we're going to move to a break and then go over to Bold. How many people we got in the chat, Bree?
We are looking at 150 people in the chat and only 65 likes, y'all.
Wow. Okay.
Let's get them likes up, guys.
Yeah, get it up.
It supports the show.
Mm-hmm. All right. So make sure that if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. Also, hit the like button, as Bree just said. Follow on other platforms. We have a Facebook group, Instagram, X, Threads. I would say TikTok. I don't know what the demise of it. It looked like it's going away on Monday. I hate that because there's a lot of soapies on that channel. That may not come over here, but I got a good almost 5,000-6,000 followers over there. And so they're loving the clips that I'm putting over there. And so, I don't know. We'll see what happened to TikTok. But you can follow us on all of the other platforms and get involved in the conversation, the chat, or whatever you want to do. So we are on those other areas. All right. Let's move on. We're going to go over to Bold and the Beautiful. For the week of January 13th through the 17th, Lee embarks on a research project after a confrontation with Poppy, and Steffi returns to Forrester. Lee eyes a paternity test on Tom and Luna, and Steffi vows to make Hope and Carter pay. Carter officially rehires Steffi, and Lee gets the results of the paternity test. Lee confronts Poppy about Luna's paternity, and Ridge meets Daphne Rose. And Brooke confronts Taylor, and Lee accuses Poppy of sleeping with Jack.
Ooh.
Let's get Bill out the way in Luna. That's another storyline that's just ridiculous to me. Why?
Mm-hmm. They got this girl just gallivanting, this all up in the living room, reading books, taking naps, and she should be in hiding. This shows that even Bill is not taking this seriously.
Yeah, it's a
She should be,
catastrophe waiting to happen.
she should be barricaded in her room. And I'm pretty sure with the house that big, that room is bigger than her jail cell that she was in. She would have been perfectly fine. She could walk around in her room and watch some TV. Why does she need to be be downstairs around where people can catch her? And you got Bill coming around the corner like, hide, hide, hide. Just looking foolish. And I'm like, you had to do this in your own house? Tell that girl to go to her room and stay there. She'd be okay. It's better than her being in jail.
I know. And then Will is coming. Let me tell you the most randomest comment. Will talking about, I'm assuming you thinking about Luna. I'm like, okay. Do you actually think that boy, that was on his mind to tell Bill about thinking about Luna?
No. And it also kind of shows that he really doesn't have much of a relationship with his dad either. That's the only thought that you have for your father, that he's thinking about this girl who hurt him months ago. Why not? I mean, like, hey, Dad, I'm just checking to see how you're doing, and let that just be.
Right.
And all of a sudden now he's going to start coming over and hanging out and doing this. And see, Bill put himself in this position because it is not Will. He has a whole other son who lives up underneath that roof. Yeah, who's going to come back next week.
Yeah, I'm glad to see. Even though Scott Clifton's been gone for 4 months?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I think the last time we saw him was September. When was that, when he was trying to get back with Hope? When Will told him to get back with Hope. Was that in October or September?
It was the same week that Carter told Hope how he felt.
Oh, that was back in September.
Yeah. So he's been gone for a little minute. I don't know how they're going to explain away that. But once again, he has a whole other son that lives in that house with him. Mm-hmm. So how is he going to try to hide Luna if she's refusing to stay in her room?
Yeah, that was just the stupidest thing ever. And I know they wanted to bring Lisa Yamada back into the mix, which is why they're revisiting this whole DNA thing with her. I mean, this woman, they making Poppy, because honestly, if there's a question about Bill and Tom and either Finn or Jack, she would have had to sleep with all those guys in a matter of a week. Or 72 hours, I think it is.
Yeah. She wasted no time. And her daughter was telling on her. She was like, look, it could have been so many contenders. So many different men that come in and out of her life. So she knows how her mother was.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the time frame, because in order to have that type of questioning, it's a 72-hour window. It's what you say?
I was going to say, if anybody's seen the show Paternity Court, there's a lot of women who move rather quick sometimes within the same day.
I mean, good grief.
I mean, it could have been within weeks, right?
Weeks?
She couldn't have slept with someone one week and another guy the next week?
It has to be within the same time frame for it to be considered for paternity. Like if she slept with the man with 3 men within a week, all 3 of those men could be possibly Luna's father.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they're painting it is that she slept with Bill at the festival, then she slept with Tom, who was also at the festival. She was also living underneath Jack and Lee's house, so she either slept with Jack or Finn. That could all happen within a week's time frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the window, like I said, the window of conception is 72 hours. So what is that? Almost 3 days. So I mean, she could have had a man a day.
Yeah, and I was going to say something else, so keep it PG. But there's stuff that lives for quite some time. So she gambled with her reproductive organs, and this is her life right now. Her daughter don't know who
like
her daddy was.
Right. I mean, obviously okay, so basically Luna unalived Tom for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
You got rid of this man for no reason. Why not? If Bill is not the father, they just automatically assume Tom was. And so I know Tom was like, "That is my kid," because he was claiming Luna big time.
Mm-hmm.
Then get a test. Instead, go ahead.
I think that he tried to, but she refused. He said he was stalking her.
Who? Luna refused or Poppy?
Poppy refused because that's why he was sending letters to her to begin with. He knew that it was a possibility he was her dad, but Poppy refused to get that confirmation.
Well, now blood is on their hands because they didn't take a DNA test. That could have ruled him out and sent this man on his merry little way.
And didn't they have a scene with yeah, they did, with Tom in that bad wig and Poppy, and she said that, "Oh, I have a piece of you in me," or something like that. Mm-hmm. So that alluded.
Keish, we might be thinking the same thing.
Pieces, but they alluded to that fact that could have been her dad. So we a lot of the viewers, we had to run with what they were showing us. Mm-hmm. So now with them backtracking, yeah, it was very senseless for her to unalive 2 people. But I think to give her some redemption in a way, they had to make him not her father, because it's one thing to have 2 casualties, but if one of them was her biological father, that's kind of hard to get any redemption for.
Yeah, I don't.
In Soap
World, yeah, but why bring Clint Howard on for what? I mean,
but we were trying to figure out what they brought Tom Arnold here for. What
exactly? Why did you bring this guy on if you were going to, what do they call it, retcon the whole story?
That whole storyline was a waste.
It was a waste. General. Exactly. Why did you even do all that?
And then to just top it off with making Luna a murderer, it's like now you got to do all this goofy stuff to explain why she's at Bill's house or to keep her in the story.
Yep. Exactly. So, and especially since it's looking this way with Finn, and I know y'all had a whole string of conversations about that earlier.
Yeah,
with Finn. Jay wanted to actually be on the call to talk about it, but he's not feeling well. And so,
I feel better, Jay.
Sorry, Jay.
Yeah, he was like, "I want to be on the call, but I'm not feeling well." I'm like, "Okay, no problem," because he wanted to say his piece even further. But if Finn is planning on being maybe Luna's father, y'all were already hinting about that in February of 2024.
January 29th and the 30th.
There you go. See, she got time stamps. She got receipts.
They would also have to age Finn up because Luna's supposed to be like 21, 22. And Finn is supposed to be in his mid-30s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not too far-fetched because...
Like 16. He would have been like 16.
But they were saying that he was in his first year of college, though.
Even if Finn was like 30, that's what I'm saying. They would have screwed the time period and his ages up. Because let's say Finn is like 37, 38 right now. If Luna's 22, that means that he would have been 16, 17.
Well, then they might age him up then. Because he wouldn't be too far from Poppy's age if they were able to hang out together.
Remember, we
don't even know how old she is, really.
Well, we had a whole conversation about this last year when that whole thing was hinted. Because remember, we were trying to figure out the ages. And he would probably be like 39 and she would be like 42. And we knew Lee was a little bit older, maybe 5 to 8 years older than Poppy. I mean, because they clearly told us that he was a freshman, his first year of college, when they were having those dance parties. That's what they said in the script. Yeah. Which would have put him at 18, 19. Because usually when you're a freshman in college, I know when my kids were, they were 18 and 19. So, which would put him at, well, you say how old is Luna? 22 or 21?
Like 21.
She's got to be about 22 by now because I think she was 21 when she first
with RJ.
Well, I guess it depends on when her so-called birthday fell in the year, because if she remember, was she old enough to drink when she was drinking that back in February sweeps?
I believe so.
Okay, so she would have been, what is the age of drinking? It's 21. So she would have been 21 last year. So assuming that she'll be 22 this year, that would have put him. Ooh, that's off. By a couple of years.
Unless they age him up.
Yeah, unless they age him up. That's all I can think of.
They would have to.
Or age her down a year.
No, I won't. No, they would probably have to age him up, and he would kind of be like Thomas's age, or like maybe Rick's age. If they age him up, because they've never really established like how old he was in comparison to Steffi. But this also would kind of show that maybe Lee is like maybe 10 or maybe 15 years older, because I remember they were saying that she was always protecting her baby sister, and she was kind of like a motherly figure to Poppy. Well, so
my thing is, either way this goes, Finn clearly has no clue. Because Finn would be he would have been acting very strange when Poppy and Luna showed up. And he would also have been questioning whether or not Luna was his if he willingly slept with his aunt. Yeah. And he's never done that. And they've had Finn and Luna in a scene or Finn and Poppy in a scene by themselves when they specifically spoke about Luna's paternity and Poppy wanting him to be a father figure to her, and he didn't have a weird reaction to that. So if they're going to make Finn her father and keep Poppy as her biological mother, then this clearly would have been a case of her taking advantage of Finn while he was unconscious because he has no clue. This isn't going to be a case where he willingly slept with his aunt or he got drunk and slept with his aunt. Like, nobody gets drunk and then is suddenly attracted to their family member. So they're either going to make Poppy a predator, or she will have, I guess, adopted Luna from a chick that he got pregnant that he doesn't know about, because she disappeared for that year when they didn't see her when she was pregnant, apparently.
Yeah, I honestly feel, and Jasmine kind of brought it up, they were probably hyped up on myths. I wouldn't put it past them to say that she was on the myths, that he accidentally took it, And I think you brought up something in our chat earlier that she already has a tolerance for it.
Yeah,
but
she
I
already
think
said
mixing
that.
yeah, but mixing it with alcohol, you can be a
No.
little impaired, kind of like how Luna painted it off to be when she was with, was in there at that point. But if Finn has never consumed anything of that, and was really young at that time, I can see him not having any recollection. But I think they could set up a scenario where they both were on the mends, and it just happened, and she didn't know until she found out that she was pregnant.
I don't think that that's how they would set it up, because she's already made it clear that they don't affect her like that. So if they don't affect her like that, then she knew what she was doing.
At her age now, but probably back then, 20 something years ago, then, if she was partying around and sleeping with all these different men, she went from Bill to Tom and to whoever in that time period, that probably would have affected her more so then. And maybe now it doesn't, it doesn't affect her as much.
All
I
I
just don't
know
think that
is
that's
that
how they would do it.
I just wish that they didn't waste the storyline with Tom last year. And obviously, Lisa Yamada, they want to keep around. She's a good actress. But then you throw that whole thing out the door, and now you're trying to go backtrack to Jack or Finn as being the father. We could have did that all summer.
Do you guys think that Finn is the father or Jack is the father?
I have a
I think
feeling.
it's Jack. I don't think that they're going to make it Finn.
Well, somebody dropped in the spoiler that he's going to say they never slept together. I mean, that's more of a scandal with Finn than anything. Okay, Lee gonna be mad if Jack slept with her, but okay.
And created a child, and she wanted to have a child with her own husband and couldn't give him a baby. And I think it's going to create more of a rift with Poppy if she found out she slept with her husband, but her child, that's a whole other different level.
Yeah, that's diabolical work.
Yeah, she gonna get all kinds of smoke
It's
from
mixed
Lee.
reviews in the chat. I see Jack Finn, Jack Finn, not Finn, Jack Finn. So it's split down the middle.
I just think the idea of an aunt having sex with her nephew, and it doesn't matter that they're not blood related. The fact that she has known Finn since birth, and they have grown up knowing each other as aunt and nephew, with an aunt and nephew relationship, the whole idea of her possibly sleeping with her nephew and getting pregnant is disgusting. And if the genders were reversed, nobody would want this. But because the victim would be a male, it's almost as if it doesn't matter, and it's okay, and it's more scandalous and soapy. And I don't know. I find that situation to be gross, and I don't think there's anything soapy about it.
I think, but Bold and Beautiful, like, they're known, well, I don't want to say all they're known for, but a lot of their storylines are very taboo. Keep in mind, we have Brooke's son, Rick, who took the virginity, he dated Phoebe, took the virginity of Steffi, and was also with their mother at one point. Mm-hmm. So they're going to blur the lines. The only difference with this is he could have created a child in this particular case, but I think they just wanted to try to do something to create shockwaves. And that's why I was bringing up the stuff about the contract, because I'm like, okay, we're getting to February sweeps and that contract's almost up. This would definitely gather a lot of ratings, and it pulls a lot of different people in. This could create a whole rift between Finn and Steffi as well. Making Finn the father, I think, as crazy as it is, even for the soap world, I think it makes sense. And also, it can kind of also see where Luna, got those genetics from, as far as like her being capable to unalive to people in cold blood the way she did. I mean, clearly she got it from her grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Baby,
But it's another. It would be another gray area assault situation, like it was with Zendaya and Luna, and we all hated that because it served no purpose, only to make RJ a victim and to make Zendaya, I guess, some kind of not really an antagonist because he didn't know, but still, it put that stain on him of he kind of assaulted Luna because she wasn't, supposedly at the time, she wasn't aware of what she was doing. But he didn't know that.
But they cleaned it up, and they cleaned it up.
They cleaned it up later by saying that Luna, knew what she was doing. But that was what 6 months later, 7 months later. But at the time, before they retconned the situation, that's what the situation was, and we were all pissed about that because you're doing that kind of a topic, that kind of a situation, and you're not even doing the story right because it all ended up being her just being concerned about RJ breaking up with her or her disappointing RJ. They didn't even take the situation of what happened. They didn't take it. It wasn't. They didn't take it serious. It was like you're using SA for a shock factor. That was all they were using it for, and it was an unnecessary thing to do. They didn't need to do that. They could have just had her cheat, but they had to somehow make RJ a victim. And in this situation, they wouldn't need to do this with Finn and Poppy. They could just make it to where if they want to make Luna his child, they could just say that she adopted Luna from a girl that he got pregnant in college that he didn't know about. There's no reason to make him and Poppy to have slept together. It's disgusting to me. That's my opinion. Won't change on that. I think it's gross, and I think it would be. There's no reason to do it. It's just pointless to do it, other than to just be disgusting.
Did you think T?
I just think that Belle is good at trying, or I don't know if you want to call it good, but he always pushed the limits of morality in the show, if that's what you want to call it. He always does. Somebody put it in the chat. Somebody said, hold on. I was reading it. So many comments. Sharon said you never know how Belle would go, and I should have stopped it because everybody's commenting, but yeah, I mean, Belle has always tried to tote the lines when it comes to, I mean, when you have two parents married in tech, you got stepbrother and stepsister dating each other. I mean, yeah. So
Consensual is different than somebody unconsciously having sex and they have no idea it happened.
Absolutely, girl. Please, I understand that. I'm wondering. I'm gonna see it. It just seems weird on how this is going. So if they need shock value, this is definitely a way to get it. There's Jay in the chat.
Hey, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Okay, let's see what he said. He said, huge that proves they would do it. If they have used SA just for shock value, then they would do it again. Because Finn being the father is a bigger story. Jack is barely on the show. I agree with that.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't use it again. I'm just saying to me, it's funny how a lot of people are wanting it to be that they slept together, but no one liked that when it was Luna and Zendaya. Everybody was annoyed that they had, for a couple of different reasons, were annoyed that they had Zendaya in that kind of a situation.
Yeah.
I mean, neither situation is a good thing when you don't have consent and somebody get caught up. The question is, how are they, if they are going to put Finn in this situation, how is
Mm-hmm.
this going to happen? Did he mistakenly take something that she had, or did she give him something by mistake? And but still, you would have to, the action would still have to happen. I mean, if it was,
Exactly.
you know, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. It could be Jax. It could not be. We'll see how they're gonna put all this together next week. In the weeks
Yeah.
to follow, because obviously we're going into February sweeps, and we ain't heard nothing about this contract. So I'm wondering how this is going to transpire if Jack is not the father, because the previews for 2025 is there's supposed to be a big storyline that's going to impact Steffi and her husband. Now, it could
Yep.
work either way, whether this girl is his sister or his daughter. It's still going to be a problem if Finn try to embrace her as a sister or as a daughter, because Steffi is not going to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Or have her around Hayes or her family. It's just not going to happen. But you know who would welcome her with open arms? Sheila.
Probably.
This would if they find out, if Deacon and Sheila find out that Finn has a daughter and is grown enough to make her own decisions, Sheila's going to try to reach out to baby Sheila. Maybe we can give some pointers, like, hey, when you get your chloroform, you go here. I've been working with him for 20-something years. Something. But she would definitely try to use Luna as a way to get closer to Finn. I feel like if they're keeping Sheila quiet until maybe this storyline kind of starts to form, I can see them putting Sheila and Luna together later down the line too.
Yeah.
And Steffi really won't have that.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's going to impact them, and either one of those situations could definitely be an issue for Steffi. So, speaking of, Steffi decided to put her plan in motion this week by returning to Forrester, and I gotta say, whoever wrote her script and Jacqueline acted it out very well. I mean, every point that Steffi said out of her mouth, it made so much sense. I'm here to protect my assets and my legacy. You need good optics, because if this takeover is going to look legitimate, you need a Forrester on the executive team. Yep. Just those 2 points alone make sense.
And then you got Hope being snooty, got her nose up in the air, like, I can't trust you.
I mean, but she was saying, like, just because he owns the LLC, and that's another point that Steffi made, because that was a big question that we had over this past time, is about her shares. She said, I'm still a majority shareholder. Which still don't make sense, because the majority shareholders should have a say in the company.
Right. And for one, really shouldn't be asking for a job position. You own majority of that company. Shouldn't be asking for anything. So that's very confusing for me, and I think like you guys as well and other viewers.
Well, here's the other thing. Hope was trying her best to keep that girl up out of there. And I mean, both Carter and her mother had to say, you just can't keep Steffi out of the building. You can't. Her name is on the building.
Right.
Any of the Forresters can come back up in there, whether they work there or not.
They own the building.
They own it.
I mean, really, Steffi didn't even have to ask for a job. She could walk all up and through there whenever she wanted to. Sit in that office. Like, that's her building. That's their building. They own that building.
Now, here's where Carter lose me. He looks so weak and pathetic. This girl is not even on the executive staff. First of all, why does Steffi have to answer to Hope? I understand Carter and maybe Brooke for CEO, but why do Steffi got to answer to Hope as the president?
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
And then you're deferring to her to make your decision, Mr. Managing of the LLC?
Yeah, exactly. This is just so goofy on his part. Well, all three of them are goofy. Brooke is goofy for the fact like, oh, having Steffi on will bring Ridge back. Girl, get off of that gravy train.
Right.
And then you got Carter, who really just looks goofy as a leader, like given all the stuff that happened with Electra and this hiring, like this, he questions it, like, oh, why does Daphne want to work with us? Okay, we'll hire her. And then you have Steffi, like, oh, well, I wanted the Forces to come back. Okay, we'll hire him. Like, it's like he has no guard up whatsoever. He's just allowing whatever to come in. And then you got Hope. Pitiful. The stank look on her face. Every scene. I don't think we should trust her. Like, why would she want to come back here? Why? Like, just the nerve of her. Shouldn't she be working on her fashion line?
Girl, that girl has been in that office. We saw a new sign that says Hope for the Future today. I don't know if y'all caught that. But But I'm like, okay, you got a sign. Where's the clothes? Who's designing? Did the numbers go up? I know this is beginning of the first quarter, but you ain't been doing nothing but kissing all over Carter and begging not to have Steffi back. And all of them look hypocritical. And even Carter had to say, well, what do you expect me to do? I told them they could stay. Well, you can tell them no. I'm like, Hope.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Keish.
At first, I didn't want Steffi. I did not want Steffi working there, like after the whole takeover. But I'm glad that she decided to go back because all it did was expose that Carter and Hope didn't really care about fairness and having everybody's voices heard. They only wanted what they wanted. So all of that talk about, we still want you guys to work here. You don't have to leave the company. Or when Hope said I think she said it to Brooke, that Steffi and Rich chose to leave. They didn't have to. That's on them, because they didn't want to be there. And it's like, okay, well, she's back now. And now you all are acting as if you're not sure if she should be allowed to work there. So you never really wanted them to stay there in the first place. That was all just a facade that you guys put up, a front that you put up to make it seem as if you were being the good guys.
Yeah.
Because
it was all cap.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
they just wanted the appearance of we're being the bigger person. We're being the good guys. They're the ones that decided to leave and abandon the company. We didn't tell them to go. But now that she's back, it's obvious that they never expected or wanted them to come back.
Nope.
No, well, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, Keish. Carter did. Hope did not.
Yes. Yeah.
This exposed the fact that they're on two different wavelengths, two different pages when it comes to that takeover. She was perfectly fine with it just being her mama and him at the top of the company, and she just reaping all the benefits. She even pouted and had a snarky look on her face at the thought of Eric and Ridge coming back to the company. She doesn't want the Foresters back. Whereas Carter, he always wanted that door open. If anything, he had more his heart was wavering. Well, I won't say heart, but he was wavering with his thoughts as far as them coming back and him taking over. He didn't really feel all that great about it, but he felt that it was the right thing to do. And Hope really only saw the benefits of the Forresters not being there, and the Logans and her and Carter taking over. Mm-hmm. So she didn't want Steffi to be there in any capacity. She was banking on that. Yeah. And I think this is going to start to create a little tiny rift between her and Carter too, because like, what happens if Ridge and Eric say, "Oh, we're going to come and join them"? Mm-hmm. Then what is she going to do? This goes against what her thought process was, and this week clearly showed that they're on two different pages. She wanted to gain something from this control.
Did you see that girl face at the end of Thursday's episode when he was talking to Steph, about being back here and everything? Ooh, she was not happy about that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely feel like this is it's gonna put a little rift in there, like you said. And I think her paranoia because she's just waiting for Steffi to pull something. Like, she's waiting to be able to say, "See, Carter, this is why Steffi shouldn't come back." And I think she's gonna be the one that Carter is gonna start side eyeing, because she's so paranoid about what Steffi's doing.
And paranoid about what? Much to Carter's point, like, hey, they have control of the LLC. They're calling the shots. So, like, what is she so paranoid about Steffi being there? And how can she just think that the Forresters are not going to ever set foot in their building and their names on the building?
She will always feel threatened by Steffi. It doesn't matter that Carter has control. She knows how good of a businesswoman Steffi is and how smart she is when it comes to that company. So she's always going to feel threatened by her.
I forgot to even put in the part where Steffi was like, we want our children to work there one day. I mean, that pitch that Steffi did was chef's
genius.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she had point after point after point. They couldn't dispute any of it.
I love when she said, "I don't need to be liked. I can make tough decisions."
Exactly. Mm-hmm. She wasn't trying to kiss up to them. She kept it as real and authentic. It was genius.
It was.
Yep, she did.
Whoever wrote that for her, they did an excellent job on that.
Yeah, because she went in there and said, "Look, I'm still mad. I'm still angry about what you guys did. I'm still hurt, but I know that it's important to keep my company afloat because my assets are in here. I want this to still be around for my kids, and I'm not going to let that get in the way of making sure that this company remains successful."
That's why it was dumb for Carter and Hope. Y'all want y'all own stuff? Go start your own business.
Right.
But he's not a good business person. Just because you're a good attorney don't mean that you can run a whole multi-international fashion house.
Right.
And it's clearly showing that he's not a good leader. Who one of y'all said it earlier with the whole thing with Electra.
Mm-hmm.
And then now this situation where, you got to defer to Hope just to make sure her feelings are not hurt.
Yeah.
You can't make business decisions based on your feelings.
Which is exactly what he accused Steffi of.
Exactly.
That's the whole purpose of this takeover too, because he felt that he wasn't heard. And then Hope was in her feelings because she was embarrassed that she got fired, even though it was her own fault. They did this whole takeover about their feeling. Mm. And then now that they're in control, they're proving how out of control they really are as leaders.
And Brooke half-heartedly want to be there. We got to talk about her too, because in one breath last week, she slapped the man and then talk about how she was pretty much done with him. And then now you back on that gravy train on the phone with the man and he hung up on you.
That was the best part.
I was
like, wow. Oh, J Money said, "I wish Steffi was single so she could have seduced Carter herself."
I think that's what people was thinking was going to happen, was that she was going to try to seduce Carter, but she brought her homegirl in for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, with Brooke, it's like, girl, I mean, first of all, Ridge called your daughter a nasty bee and a worthless slut. And
the same week.
And then he's sleeping with Taylor. Even though you told him, I took the CEO position because I wanted to give you back the company, and that somehow I was going to persuade Carter to change his mind. Yeah,
her non-plan.
Right.
The non-plan that she had.
Right. And then now you're on the phone talking about this not over. We gonna always be together. And the man introduced you to Tone. Dial Tone.
That was the best. Like, and rightfully so. This is exactly what Brooke deserves. Because there's no other reality check. This is why I keep saying Taylor and Brooke are just sister wives, and Brooke just wants to keep going with her turn. This is it. This is exactly it. You slapped this man saying that you can do better, and for him to have his second choice. Okay. Then why won't you let this man be? She getting all happy and giddy over the fact that Steffy's coming back to the company. And like, oh, Rich is going to eventually want to come back, and this might make things better. And Hope and Carter looking at her like, girl. And then your sister calls from the house and say like, oh, Rich is moving on. He's upstairs with Taylor. He had a romantic dinner and they're talking about moving in together. You still crying over this man. And then you confront Taylor for no reason. And then you call this man, even after all of that, and say that we still belong together, only to hear that dial tone.
That's pathetic.
It was.
Yes.
And I ain't letting Taylor off the hook either.
Absolutely not. But once again, they confront the woman and have no smoke for the man.
Exactly.
Like, why are you in Taylor's face when it's your man that left you for her?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna talk about, oh, you went over there and took advantage. No, that was Ridge. Now, granted, like I said in the chat, I think earlier today, she could have took a step back and said, look, this is all fresh and new. I'm not going to be anybody rebound. You know, you need to go and make sure that's unfinished. Make sure you finish unfinished business.
Yep.
Nope. She was like, oh, you done with Brooke? Okay, let's go.
Let me hurry up and jump on this real quick.
Literally.
The same one back in September that said, I don't need a man. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so pathetic. Like, she didn't even make that man work for it.
Keith.
No. This is the same man she has a whole medical condition about.
Right, you just got went through chakra healings and yab yum poses and all this kind of stuff over the broken heart syndrome when you thought you had, what they call that, what she thought she had at first? Heart failure.
Heart failure.
Yeah, she thought you thought you had heart failure, collapsed all over the floor, and I don't need a man. You ain't got nothing to worry about, Brooke. And Brooke, I mean, she did say that part. You said all this stuff only to go and swoop in when the dude kicked me to the curb.
Yeah, but Brooke said that as if her and Taylor were besties.
Right, like, talking about why you stabbed me in the back.
Yeah. She owes you nothing. Like, y'all are not friends, and Taylor owes you nothing.
Right. And it was on the other foot, Brooke would not care.
Well, exactly. See, that happened when they broke that pact in a week.
Exactly. Exactly. Perfect example.
They had that pact.
It was just Taylor's turn.
Yep. They had that pact, and I think it was December 16, 2022. By Christmas, she was kissing Ridge under that mistletoe and said nothing about it. And then turned around 4 months later and was dancing around in that blue negligee with that dinner. that no every people was supposed to show up to.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, please.
Yeah,
I hate it for both of these two ladies. They keep going back. The writers just love this. They obviously love this rivalry.
yeah. And I feel like Taylor looks the most pathetic though, because this is going to be the fourth time, Bree? Third time that she gets left.
I can't keep count at this
It's like
point.
yeah, and it's like you keep inviting yourself, you keep opening yourself up to heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
This man has left her at the altar at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so it's like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? And then when he does it, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, and she blames Brooke. No smoke for Ridge. She blames Brooke for it, and it's like they don't hold him accountable.
Nope.
He's never held accountable. It's always the other one. It's always either Brooke's fault or it's Taylor's fault. It's never his fault. He makes all these promises, all these plans, and then the minute he wants to forgive Brooke, he's out the door. And she just kind of, I mean, I guess there isn't anything that she can say because that's his pattern. That's what he does. So, I mean, it's kind of on her.
Thank you, Sandra, for keeping tally. She said it's been 4 times to be left for Brooke.
And you can tell that it's going to happen again because every time if you've seen it in the past when Brooke hugs, Ridge hugs
yes.
Taylor, he's looking off in the distance and you know he's thinking about Brooke.
Yep. And right now it's like every time, so like that conversation that he had with Eric and Zende when they were talking about him being with Taylor now, it was more about him being angry at what Brooke did than it was about, oh, I love Taylor so much. I'm so happy to be with her again. It's more about him being mad at Brooke than anything. Yeah, and I feel like he's with Taylor right now because he knows that that's going to hurt Brooke. I feel like that's why he turned to her immediately.
Yeah, it's a betrayal for a betrayal.
Yep, and it's just like what he told Steffi a couple of weeks ago or last week, whenever that was, when he basically said that his family with Taylor is his safety net, which is an insult in my opinion. But he knows that Taylor is always going to be there for him, no matter what. He knows that he can run to her whenever Brooke disappoints him and when his feelings are hurt and when he needs someone to fill that space until he's ready to forgive Brooke again. And she allows it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments and both of these women are pathetic. After 30-something years, you would think you would learn something about the same man. That's why he is comfortable moving the way he does.
Yep.
I couldn't.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can't imagine. Why do these women not have friends to tell them this is a stupid decision?
Well,
because they have family that encourage them to keep taking this man back.
Hold on one second. Here's the thing. The difference, and this is where I'm going to rarely give Hope a little bit credit. Hope tells her mom, leave Ridge alone. Steffi pushes her mom to Ridge.
Yeah.
I mean, Hope is like, look, how many times you going to keep doing this with him? And then Steffi is like, oh, Mom, go get Dad. Brooke, he doesn't need Brooke. You need to be with him. And it's like, you out of that whole situation with Liam with a whole dude like Finn, but you going to push your mama into a situation that you didn't want to be in eventually.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Nope.
And then about your mother's heart condition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the man who caused her heart condition. Granted, it's your daddy. And then you had to give a whole disclaimer, say, like, don't break my mom's heart. Oh, why would you want her to be in that position in the first place?
Right.
So I'm surprised. Normally I'm not, Hope ain't been doing the right thing for a while now. But that right there, she's trying to tell her mama, you need to leave that man alone.
And
She does it occasionally. It's like sometimes she will do that, and
Right.
sometimes she will argue with Steffi about Ridge loves my mom more, or Ridge wants to be with my mother. Ridge picked my mother. That kind of nonsense.
And I feel like she was about to start doing that in today's episode with Steffi when they were talking about the fact that Brooke was out of the office and wanted to confront Taylor and they're like, oh, well, my mom is heartbroken because Ridge decided to leave her and go to Taylor. And I'm like, well, that was because of you. Or did you forget? But it's more so a competition thing with Hope. I feel it's a competition thing with Brooke and the Logans in general. Just to have one up on the man. Because even take Katie, for example, with that whole thing with Bill and Poppy. She finally got the man to go towards her direction and she acted like she didn't want him. It's always some sort of competitiveness when it comes to the Logans. And I think someone said it in the chat too. Brooke doesn't want any. She wants all the Forrester men to herself. I fully believe that because she gets the loyalty and respect from Eric, and then she has Ridge in her back pocket, and then Thorne is somewhere off, but he knows she's going to side with Brooke in some sort of way. And him siding and them going along with Taylor kind of shuts her out. Which, I mean, she got a piece of that when that man hung up the phone on her.
Right. Yep. So, yeah. I mean, somebody just dropped it in the chat. Looked like she was trying to have a similar conversation with Steffi about her mama today, too. So, I forgot about that. So, yeah, I guess we got to put Hope back on the hook with that situation. Thank you very much for the corrections. I would say Bill is a whole single dude over there. Fine as ever.
Yes, he is. That is like my soap crush. Oh, he's such a delicious man.
You got two ladies fighting over somebody like Ridge, who is waffling between the two of them that he has been doing for the last 3 decades. You got Bill over there, somebody. I mean, anybody interested? No?
That's going to be Lee's new man.
Girl.
Look, I really feel that way. That's going to be Lee's new man.
I guess.
Now when she find out he's got Luna in his house.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, what would be a bigger betrayal? Him keeping Luna in the house or Poppy sleeping with her son?
No, both. Well, no, this Poppy sleeping with his son was horrible.
That's not a betrayal. That's just disgusting.
It's diabolical.
And predatory.
Exactly. She's going to need a shoulder to cry on. It's not going to be Jack.
I don't know. I just wish that they would either bring a couple of dudes on for these two women. You see how they starved out Liam for the past couple years. It's time to starve out Ridge for a while. Let him sit in the stands and watch the girls move on.
Well, that was what that whole friendship thing was supposed to be about.
Girl.
They only did that because Thorson was off off screen for 3 months?
Right. And then
I thought that was when they were trying to capture Sheila.
It started out when I think Sheila had ran away, but remember Thorson was gone for like 3 months, and then when he came back, that's when they started the whole storyline with Sheila and him working with Bill.
Right. So after that, like I said, Brooke broke the pack at Christmas. He left. Went gone for 3 months, and that April 10th episode is when he was back, and she had on that blue lingerie.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, like I say, it's at what point do we stop the merry-go-round with these two? They both look pathetic.
Yes, they do.
To the point where one is constantly insecure. This man was saying all this stuff about her daughter. It was true, but Still, to her
Oh
face.
my God,
I
Bree.
think my jaw dropped after that scene. During that scene, when after he said all that to Hope, and he walks off and says, "Let's go, Logan,"
And she walks
and
with
she
him.
follows right behind him.
How
Well, the
does
other
he
thing
care?
is with Ridge and what Taylor needs to recognize that if Brooke had actually told Hope to move off the property, he would have still been staying there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, the reason that he left is because Hope is living there.
Yep. But do you think so? Do you think if, let's say, she had Hope move off the property, but they still offer her the CEO position, do you think she would have taken it, or you think she would have
Nope.
turned it down?
I think she would have turned it down because she would have been with Ridge. She followed the man home after the whole nasty B term and all of that stuff. And he had just called the girl a worthless, you know, and then asked her to kick Hope out. And she said no, and then he left.
I think she would have still took that position with him living in the house. They didn't still justify it the same way, saying that she's trying to do that to try to get the company back. She would have been perfectly fine as long as he was living in the
You think
house with
so?
her. Yes. She would have still tried to justify it, just like she justifies everything.
Yeah, I think she would have tried to do it too. I think maybe that would have been the thing that had him move out of the house too.
Yeah, well, in Taylor's case, she's not thinking properly. She's just thinking of the fact that I'm gonna beat Brooke, and I got this man that I've been pining over since I got back to town. She's been lying to
Yeah.
herself and lying to everybody else, and now she should have told Ridge instead of going back and forth. The ladies going back and forth. Um, Taylor should have said, "Why did you truly leave Brooke? Is it because you're done or what?" Well, I told her to kick Hope off the property and blah, 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 and she didn't do it. And my question would have been to him, oh, okay, so I'm assuming if she had to kick Hope off the property, you would have stayed with her.
Yeah. Of course,
You
Taylor
know,
doesn't ask any questions. She just takes what Ridge gives her. That's where Thomas gets it from.
Well,
yeah,
you...
well, dang. Hate to say that, but that might be true. But I was going to say, like, she's a whole therapist, and she's rational with everything except for when it comes to Ridge.
Girl, this man must got golden pee. Golden
Okay.
peen. Let me change that. Golden peen.
Yes,
Something.
or he's doing it a certain type of way that, like, after 30 years is unbeatable. I mean, there's the only way these women are perfectly fine being sister wives. They are perfectly fine with going along with whatever Ridge wants, what he says. He's always correct. He's never wrong. And they have no problem fighting each other over this man. The way he must be working it after 30 something years, got this woman a heart condition and got Brooke insecure. This woman who once thought she can have any man in the world, she then zeroed herself down to just Ridge.
I mean, I don't see Ridge as the type of dude to blow out somebody's back, so I don't know what it is.
I mean, maybe other skill sets.
Wait a minute, Bree. What is that? What that mouth do or something? I don't know.
Something's gotta give. I don't know. Either he got heavy artillery, or he got a certain technique. Something's gotta give because these women are stuck on stupid. After 30 something years, you learn nothing. You got your children fighting over, who's going to end up with their mom, who Rich's going to end up with. This is insane. He's doing something for these women, even to the point where Brooke is being faithful to that particular man. Out of all the men that she went through, she's staying faithful to that man. She's like, yeah, he does everything I need for me to get myself together.
And you would think that she's been with Bill Spencer. I mean, Is he all talk and nothing in the bedroom or something? I mean,
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Poor Bill.
I mean, cause some,
You can't get Katie back.
right? I mean, he can't get Katie. Brooke ain't even pining after him. He just over there licking his wounds with his son. Both of them over there, just like, woe is me.
Well, look, Poppy was cool with it. She loved him.
Girl,
She
until
was. She shouldn't drop in the L word for that man. Whatever
yeah,
he
but
was
then
doing
he
for her.
didn't love her back.
Oh. Well, let Lee get a go of it. She needs the cobwebs knocked off. You know, maybe she can give her medical expert opinion about how he is moving and
Yeah,
go from there.
yeah. So, anywho, well, did we cover everything on both? I think
I think
so.
so.
Okay.
A quick thing. Daphne and Ridge. That was a little interesting flirtation I saw there.
Yeah,
I feel like Torsten can't help but to be flirtatious when he's in a scene with any woman that isn't Steffi and Hope. Like,
That's a good question.
Girl,
But the way that she just walked into the room and like, oh, your cologne is very sexy.
she said it's masculine and
Masculine, powerful, and you take control or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, that was pretty interesting.
yeah, I
And
can't
then,
wait to see what she do with Carter next week.
right, ooh,
Girl, you see how she was putting it on thick. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. You better hope you've been putting it down because Daphne coming with the artillery.
Her own artillery.
Right.
Wee.
I don't think she's going to be successful at pulling Carter away from Hope.
Why? You think he actually is 10 toes down with Hope?
I think he is.
You sound like Jay.
Yeah. This man he has never shown that he has been loyal to one woman. He makes his way to always cheat on a woman that he's with.
That is true.
He didn't cheat on Quinn, did he?
Quinn walked away thanks to the writers.
Right. And then he was using Paris, and he left her at the altar.
Yeah, I remember that. Did he cheat on Zoe? Or I think didn't Zoe break up with him because she wanted to be with Zendaya? How did that work? I don't remember how that
he cut that off. Yeah, he cut that off when he found out she had feelings for Zendaya.
Here's how it could work. Remember, we were just saying that Hope and him might not be on the same page with these Forresters coming back. Mm-hmm. So if there's a little bit of dissension between those two, maybe they might start, having a little bit of angst. And then that's where Daphne comes in and be like, listen, boo, I can give you anything you want. Just tell me.
Yeah, I guess I could see it happening that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If she lets her paranoia get the best of her where Steffi is concerned, and he's, starts to get annoyed with that.
J Money said, thank you, Keisha. I told y'all Daphne ain't gonna succeed.
Let her give her a second, Jay. The way that she was putting it on thick in the clip, I'm like, she gonna try her hardest. But Carter is a serial cheater. He goes from one woman to the next. That's why Rich had him right saying, like, you're a lovesick puppy. All it takes is for this girl to give him like sweet nothings, and if Hope starts to have an attitude about his decision making and making, trusting Steffi, she's going to start to kind of, move away from Carter. Mm-hmm. But I also had a quick theory that if it turns out that Finn is the father of Luna, I can kind of see Hope circling herself back over to Finn too, because she knows it's going to put a rift between Steffi and Finn.
That's possible. Oh my goodness.
Just to get back at Steffi.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they get that company back, she's going to try to zero in on something that's going to hurt Steffi and it would be Finn. And if she finds out that Finn is the father of Luna, same way she welcomed Sheila with open arms, she would do the same thing with Luna, and try to get Finn over to her side, and then realize that Steffi and Finn are going to start to kind of crumble because Steffi will not accept Luna. So if it goes that direction, that could be another route that breaks up Hope and Carter too.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what's gonna happen next week. But okay, so Bree, you and I are saying you think that she'll succeed. Jay and Keish,
Yeah,
you think that it's not gonna happen. So we're kind of split. I guess we'll see what happens.
it's okay. She gonna succeed. She gonna succeed. That's a beautiful woman.
I mean, not it's not even just her looks; it's the way. That's remember we were talking about that
She
femme
commands a
fatale.
room.
Yeah, she's a femme fatale. She comes up in there with all the confidence and the sex appeal and seduction and you know. Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and move to our segments. All right. So, for those again that are new here, we're going to do our flip the script segment. So, if there's a particular scene or storyline you wish you could change, this is where we flip the script. What y'all got for Y&R?
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
I would have had that situation with Harrison and Summer when Kyle and Claire came home and saw her, spending time with Harrison. That they would have just backed off of talking to him and let her take that time that she came to spend with Harrison instead of interrupting it and basically pushing her out the door.
I agree with that. What you got, Bree?
When Claire was concocting that plan with Nikki and Victoria, I would have loved for Jordan to be lurking in the background listening to it.
You want them to get caught up, don't you?
I mean, it wouldn't be her first time showing up on the property unannounced, just lurking in the background ever so easily because the security is terrible.
Oh, okay. If I had to flip the script, I wish Sharon would have got once she had took all that time to try to gather up enough strength to break that chain. They should have just let her figure her way out of there so we can keep this storyline moving.
Mm-hmm.
Because now she collapsed. Is she knocked out for a while? Is Jordan going to come in there and move her again or lock her up again? Y'all should have just let that girl figure her way out and, so we can get this over with. Bold.
My boat flip would have been Steffi. Steffi just walked in the CEO office and said, "I'm back. I'm going to be president," and not have asked for a job back. She's a shareholder. She didn't have to ask for a job.
What you got, Bree?
I would have loved for Luna to get caught this week. With the way that she was just freely walking in the living room and then just hiding in the hallway, I wanted like a maid or somebody to bump into her and we'll catch her and see her. And his daddy had to explain why he got a criminal and living in his house.
I would have had Carter show his leadership, and I wouldn't even be going back and forth with Hope. You want me to be a leader and run this company? My decision is we need a Forrester on staff to make us look good because of the fact that this takeover looks weak without a Forrester member. And I told them that they can stay. So they're going to be here whether you like it or not, Hope. If you're going to let me lead, I need to lead. Ooh, she wouldn't have liked that at all.
Nope.
And I wouldn't care.
Can I add another one? I would have had Taylor reject Ridge's offer for her to move into the mansion.
You mean the beach house?
About that.
No, he asked her to move into the mansion.
Oh, yeah, today. He moved in there first before they moved into the beach house. Yeah. 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 Now you got to
Like I'm
run into Donna all the time.
right. I'm not moving into your daddy's house where your girlfriend's sister lives or ex girlfriend's sister lives.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
didn't hesitate too. She's like, okay.
Just
girl,
pathetic.
she thought that was exciting. Oh, you asked me moving to your parents' house. Cool.
And they well into their 60s.
Yeah. All right. Who's taking seats on the Young and the Restless? Mine is
Uh,
Claire. Girl, please. And yeah, especially with that whole conversation with Kyle and Harrison. Like Kyle too, both of y'all. Take a
Mm-hmm.
seat and let Harrison and his mama spend their day together, and then come back with that conversation.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kyle and Claire.
What you got, Bree?
I'm going to give it to Claire. And I almost want to give it to Nikki. The nerve of Nikki. She is not her husband. He's going to be able to get away with stuff like that. But much to Claire's point, Jordan took a vial of poison and you were over there trying to save her. What makes you think you're going to get away with trying to unalive Jordan now?
Right.
Sit down somewhere.
I know, right? Okay, Bold.
Taylor. She can take a seat. Brooke can take a seat as well
What you
for
got?
confronting Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Bree.
Production. Get some new men for these women.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give Hope a seat because you talking out two sides of your neck. You just had a conversation on the January 9th episode that we didn't tell them to leave. They could have stayed, and then when one comes back, then you don't want them there. Girl, sit
Mm-hmm.
down and be quiet. And the other one is Lee. I get it. I mean, she want to figure out who this. She is hard pressed about who Poppy's father is. Okay, so what if it's not uh, Jack or Finn? It's some rando that she ran into and had a one night stand. Are you gonna be happy with that? Leave that
I think
girl
she would
alone.
be.
Yeah, but I
I
mean, at what point do you let this go?
I think she wanted to try to clear the air in her way, as far as like why she has that rift with her sister. I think she always had a suspicion, so she treated her sister every kind of way. And while we're taking seats, Poppy's reproductive organs can take a seat too,
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about 3 or 4 men within the same time frame Luna was conceived.
Yeah. I just, she admitted that she was a horrible mom. She admitted to the fact that she didn't live her life right. And Lee just continuously just digging in even deeper. I'm like, at some point, y'all old now. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
But see, I can still kick your behind. That's what I can still do if I find out you slept with my son or my husband.
Yeah, so. I mean, what are you gonna do about it now? Just disown her? She just going about her business.
No, she going. I mean, she in the
You can't
hospital,
put her in
so
jail. What you gonna unalive her? You didn't
we gonna play
already. You
operations.
gonna
We gonna play
already.
operations.
Girl, cause you so silly. You done already berated her to death. Okay. Now what? All right. It's just say it's Jack. Jack is the father. Okay, you mad? You slept with your husband. Okay, now what you gonna do about it? The girl is 22 years old.
She kept that a secret, and plus, you my sister. That's a betrayal, sleeping with your sister's husband. And then with the son part, that's a whole other different.
Maybe I'm just sick of the storyline. I just wish they could have brought. If y'all gonna bring Luna back and the whole retcon, you killed Tom for no reason. It's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So waste of the summer. You could have did this what y'all doing right now last summer.
Uh-huh.
All right. We got the star of the week for Young and the Restless.
Um, actually gonna give this to the actress who plays Claire, because the scene that she had with Jordan, particularly, that was really great acting.
Yeah.
I think it's Haley Quinn. Not, is it Haley Aaron or Haley Quinn or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah,
gonna give it to
Haley
her.
Aaron, I think, ain't it?
Yeah, Haley Aaron.
Yeah, she gaslighted the heck out of Jordan.
Yep, that was a great scene.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Keish?
I think I'm gonna give mine to Cameron Grimes, Mariah.
Okay.
Especially today. In I think it was today's episode. Was it today when she found out that Sharon was kidnapped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she gave a really good performance with her reaction to that.
Okay.
And she's been giving good performances with this kidnapping storyline for the last few weeks.
Okay. I give it to Sharon Case because she remained effortless for a week in hypothermic weather and without going to the bathroom on herself, and she still looked like she does the day that she was going to the New Year's Eve party, and it's 17 days later.
Makeup untouched.
Hair
Right.
still look good.
Exactly. All right, start a week on bold. I know we probably pretty much unanimous on this one, but I'll see what y'all got to say.
Mine is Jackie.
Yeah. Yep. She rocked out in that office with them.
Mm-hmm. And even like the conversations where she talks about Stephanie,
Yeah.
like channeling her grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all of that.
What you got, Bree?
I'm gonna do a little different. I'm gonna give it to the actresses who play Poppy and Lee. I think they have
Romy Park and Naomi Matsuda.
Yes, both women are really great actresses. We actually got to see Lee start to tear up and cry a little bit. That's why I'm on Lee's side with this. But both of the actresses did a great job this week.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and again, mine was definitely Jacqueline McAnnis Wood. She rocked out this week. Yes, she did. All right, Pickle, Young and the Restless.
My pickle is going to be the writers or the showrunner and the way that they have just cracked on Shoemance, Summer and Chance.
Mm-hmm. I guess my pickle of the week is this whole thing with Adam and Chelsea. I really don't want a recon of that. I just don't. It's not interesting, and they really are trying to get these two back together. I'm actually on Chelsea's side on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I've been asking for Audra and Adam, but I don't want a repeat of those two.
When you got to bring out Victoria
Right.
to have a conversation with Chelsea about Adam, as if she's in favor of them being together, you know that it's a struggle.
Right. They forcing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Bree? Did you get your pickle?
Mine is Kyle. Just disrespectful to the other parent.
Right.
Just cutting that time in just because you feel that you can. Once again, proving how selfish and how spoiled he is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. All right, and then we have who's getting the Simp Award. I'm giving it to Brooke.
Did we do the pickle for bold?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Pickle for bold.
Brooke and Taylor.
Mm.
Yeah, pathetic.
Mine is this paternity storyline that they've been dragging on for a year now.
And keep switching up who it might be. Yeah, girl, I don't blame you.
They just need to pick a lane and stick with it. Whatever it turns out to be this time, it just needs to be that, and they need to let it go. I don't want another round of who's Luna's father.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But yeah, I also agree with the whole thing with Brooke and Taylor. It's just I'm over it. I've been over it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now the simp awards, and like I said, that whole after everything that has happened with Brooke and Ridge, and you just slapped this man and did all this stuff, and then you roll back where this man had to hang up in your face.
Is she the simp this week?
Yes. And Bree, you know I was saying that normally don't apply, right?
Yeah.
But I gotta give it to her. I'm sorry.
She earned it. She earned it.
Mm-hmm.
She is simp for Ridge and her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She keep putting herself in the middle of this mess, knowing that all this could have been avoided. Brooke knew about this way before that whole takeover came out. You could have said something. You didn't.
Yep.
Your daughter, you listened to her just like they're listening to Claire.
Yep.
It's like, this don't make no sense. You gonna sit up there and, I mean, yeah, that's what she get.
Hung up on in the face.
And so we might as well throw Taylor in there too.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that was Taylor definitely.
You
You get
know,
back with this man after a week. He makes you dinner. He makes you a fugly dress, and then talking about moving in the beach house, and then now his daddy's house, his GCAC, and you're okay with this?
It wasn't even a week, Brie.
nope.
Taylor was up in that man's bedroom the same day that Brooke announced her CEO
Yep.
position.
Yep.
It was hours.
That's when they spilled. Yeah, when he spilled that stuff when she came halfway down the stairs and Brooke saw her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Barely. So.
The pitiful plan.
Exactly. Yep. All right, you guys. It was a good one. Make sure that you hit that. Did you see Young and Restless for Monday yet, Bree?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, I haven't either. So I usually give out nuggets, but I didn't have anything. I was running around all evening. But yeah, make sure you check out the spoilers. They'll be coming out over the weekend. We are now moving into the week of the 20th through the 24th.
Man, that is so quick.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I like to move through January and February because it gets closer to spring in the Midwest, it's still a little bit fast to me. Like time is flying. Yeah, so. All right, and also sending out prayers once again to some of the soap stars that lost their homes in the fire. Also, anybody that's been affected in our chat. I think Mari was one of them. We're sending out well wishes to you all as well. So, yeah, quite a few. Eric Braden, as Bree said, Jennifer Grease, Melissa Claire Egan, a couple of other soap stars from some of the other soaps. So, yeah. Also, the new photo ops are out for Beyond the Gates characters. They are looking good. That should be coming up in almost a month. I'm excited.
So excited about that.
Yeah, I am. Me too. I can't wait. Man, I can't wait. I'm looking forward just to something different. I mean, granted, we've been dragging on this whole thing with Sharon on Y&R, and then we got all this craziness going on Bold. Kind of want to see what a Gates storylines are going to look like.
Yes. If someone from behind the gates wants to give like an exclusive, viewing, we would love to watch. Please.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, and what I was gonna say, I forgot just that fast. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. It's an hour. Oh, we will be doing recaps on that. We will be also doing talking. That's gonna be in the live. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, do we kind of shorten up each of the other ones because we'll be on live for like 3 hours. So
Yeah.
I have to figure out how we're going to manage that because I'm trying to keep it at a good time limit where I'm not taking up the entire evening. And Jenna, they should be on Monday. She says the show's going to be on Monday. I know it's a federal holiday, MLK
Yeah,
Day.
I think and the inauguration is Monday too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. So I guess I'll have to see. I'll probably, if there's some preemptions, I usually bring it up in the spoilers. So, yep. But yeah, we'll see what the Gates is gonna be like because they definitely hyping it up. They're doing interviews and articles and photo ops and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. All right,
Good for them.
What'd you say, Bree?
I say good for them. We're excited.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. You have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Night, guys.